Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics for Tuesday, the 19th of July, 2022. In the Atlantic Basin, everything remains nice and quiet, and I think it's going to stay that way for the next several days at least. So let's move over to the Pacific side where we have Estelle. Now this is interesting. Estelle weakened from hurricane intensity. Now it's a tropical storm. It was forecast to remain a hurricane a little bit longer than it did, so that might be a sign that the eastern Pacific is starting to become a little bit less favorable. We'll have to see. We do have this other area trying to develop to the south and east of Estelle, and that'll slide on off to the west as well, and at least no impacts expected, direct impacts anyway, for Mexico. Satellite animation this morning, there is Estelle, and you can see not nearly as organized, no discernible eye, just a lot of random, somewhat spiral nature to the cloud mass down there. And again, I think that's an interesting sign that we're starting to see a subtle shift of less favorability in the Pacific to eventually one that's more favorable for the Atlantic as we round out the month of July. Sliding over to the east a little bit, the deep tropics nice and quiet, the Caribbean, the Gulf, the Southwest Atlantic the same. But this feature off of Africa, I showed it yesterday, a very large envelope of energy, this tropical wave that rolled off. That is going to change the pattern for sure out that way off of Africa and for several hundred miles. And we can see that on the vorticity signature here. A lot of energy there. That's that orange and yellow area near the Cabo Verde Islands. And that's going to slide on off to the west with time and basically change the pattern to one that is a little bit more favorable in the eastern Atlantic. But it's not quite there yet. And what I mean by that, we're not quite where we need to be for development. This is a great tweet here from Philippe Papin. He actually works at the National Hurricane Center, and this is an excellent annotated graphic that shows all the different elements of what's going on out there. Yes, there is a decent tropical wave, and it has set up the monsoon trough out in that region, just an area of elongated low pressure where the air is trying to come together. Generally, as the season progresses, this becomes a much more favorable pattern, but right now, as his tweet shows and the graphic shows, there's a lot of dry air being imported from the north, and that's getting wrapped into the system. But I'm telling you, this is a really interesting sign. These large tropical waves, if it wasn't late July, let's say it was late August, this would probably try to go on to develop. But such is not the case right now. It's just slowly starting to get there in the eastern Atlantic. And we can see that represented really nicely here on the GFS this morning. Just an overall different look to the eastern Atlantic. More of this westerly winds down at the 5,000 foot level. That's a change. The trade winds are slowing down a little bit, but there's still a lot of dry air, and the Saharan air layer pretty prevalent out that way. So as you can see over the next several days, no concentrated areas of vorticity coming together across any part of the North Atlantic Basin. All right, that's it. I'm done for today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. As always, thanks for tuning in to What's Up in the Tropics. I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow morning.